Hello everyone, I'm here at my home and this is yet another DIY Cupcake Jemma video. I've had some mixed responses over the last couple of weeks of me doing my own videos. Most of you are loving it, which is really cool, thank you very much. A few of you have kind of pointed out technical issues. I'm normally aware of them, it's just that I can't quite do anything about them at the time, so apologies if you're disappointed in the technical quality of these videos that I'm making myself. Things like the sound, the editing, and just general setup. Anyway, keep your feedback coming. It's really good to hear from you, and particularly when you say that you love it, because it gives me a massive boost. And I'm going to be doing this a little bit more anyway, and the reason is, and I know that some of you have asked me that, the reason is that Sam, who normally films my videos, is just super busy with Crumbs Doilies stuff. As you know, we run the company together, he is the big cheese, and he just kind of doesn't really have time always to do this stuff with me. So that is why I am trying to take away some of the burden from Sam, and but keep you guys getting good recipes and hopefully being vaguely entertained. So today's recipe is for mini baked donuts. I understand that raised donuts and deep fried donuts are not either to everyone's taste, or maybe you don't have a fryer, or maybe you just don't like them. And this is where this recipe comes in. Now, this is going to be a baked donut recipe, but even better than that, they're going to be miniature. So they're going to be this big, which is really brilliant because everyone loves cute stuff. And you can, if you want, you can use this recipe for bigger donuts, if you so wish, but it just so happens that I don't have a bigger tray. I've only got, I'm just looking over there because it's there. I've only got this guy, which is very, very sweet and very, very small. And we actually use these donuts at Crumbs Doilies to decorate our Homer cupcake. We do another cupcake called Coffee Break, which is a coffee flavoured cake with chocolate buttercream and a little mini chocolate donut on the top. And the new one we're doing is the Homer, and that is a funfetti sponge, and it has a cute little donut on the top, which is what I'm going to make for you today. And they're really sweet, and you don't even have to use them for cupcakes, you can just eat them. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my dry ingredients ready so that they are good to go when I need them. So I've got 110 grams of plain flour. I'm going to put that through a sieve. Try and get most of it in the bowl. Also, along with that, I'm going to put half a teaspoon of baking powder and 1/8 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. In case you're wondering, they are different. I get asked this quite a lot. I know a lot of the American people out there wonder what bicarbonate of soda is, and that is because over there it's called baking soda. So it's the stuff you would find in your Arm & Hammer toothpaste, but it's also the stuff you find in cake. So baking powder and baking soda, or bicarbonate of soda, are two different things. Baking powder tends to react with heat, and baking soda, bicarbonate of soda, reacts with acid. Both of them help arise, and we're using them together here just to give it a little bit more boost, because it's actually quite a dense batter, this batter, because, you know, donuts aren't the same as cake, so they need a little bit more kind of firmness. Anyway, moving on, I'm also putting in 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and this is the coolest bit, I'm putting in a pinch of nutmeg. This kind of brings out, well, this creates a flavour that is quite reminiscent of a donut. A lot of donut recipes have a pinch of nutmeg in, or mace, which is what I use in my other recipe. And the best thing about this is, it means I get to use this really adorable tiny cheese grater, which I just love. So I've used fresh nutmeg. You can buy pre-ground nutmeg here, but the nutmeg itself looks like this. It's a little nugget, kind of, it smells good. It kind of looks like a wooden ball. And you just want to grate that until you've got enough for a kind of decent sized pinch. Put that in, and just give that a shuffle. And as I said, that's just going to sit around, just hang around until later. Now I'm going to beat some butter and some sugar together. So I have 70 grams of soft unsalted butter, and 55 grams of caster sugar. And I'm just using my trusty hand mixer today. It's a bit of a small amount to be putting in my big freestanding mixer. If you have the stamina, you can do this with a wooden spoon, but it's going to take you quite a long time. I'm just going to cheat. pale and fluffy, and now I'm going to add an egg, a large free-range egg, but first of all, I'm just going to crack it and whisk in some vanilla extract, about half a teaspoon. I'm winging it because I've misplaced my half teaspoon measure. I'm just going to whisk that together. And then when it's all kind of combined, more or less, I'm going to whack it in with my butter and sugar and just beat that as well. It doesn't need to be beat for very long, and it will look like it's curdling. Do not panic, people. It's just what happens. It's no big deal. It'll curdle a little bit, but once we start adding the dry ingredients, it'll come back together and it'll bake off just fine. So for now, just beat that together with your whisk. And that's done. So as you can see, it's all mixed in. And so now things are gonna get really exciting because, not only are we gonna add the dry ingredients, we're also gonna add some buttermilk. And the way that I'm gonna do this is to add them alternately. So I'm gonna do dry, wet, dry, wet, dry. You always wanna finish on dry, otherwise the mixture won't absorb all the fat. So you wanna end up having dry ingredients in so that the fat can dissipate properly. If it ends up with wet, it'll just kind of split and it won't rise properly. That's my very, very loose and unsubstantiated science. So for now, I'm just going to add a little bit of my dry ingredients, fold it in with my spatula, and then do the same thing with some buttermilk. And once your mixture is really well combined and folded through nicely, you then need to get it into your tin. I'm using 1 tin. This is enough mixture for about 2, maybe just over 2. I'm going to do them one at a time. If you have 2 tins, then brills. And to get it into the tin, I'm going to put it into a piping bag first, because that way it's not going to get really messy and I can be quite precise about how much I put in. And we go with the old batter. And just give it a little jumperoo so it kind of settles in and air bubbles can come to the surface. I do this with my icing as well, FYI, for buttercream. You know, when you sometimes get like buttercream farts because you've got a big massive air bubble in it. Well, this will help. It doesn't completely eliminate that risk, but it does help a little. So now that all my batter's in there, I'm just going to snip the end off. I don't want to snip a massive chunk off because I don't want it to kind of gush out. But it's going to be about 1 centimetre in diameter, this hole. And grab my tin. And I want to end up with these little holes filled about 2/3 full. So here goes. And now I'm going to bake these at 170 degrees C for 10 minutes. Even 9 minutes might do it, but just check on them at 9, add an extra minute if they need it. Now once they've come out of the oven, obviously you've got half a bag of batter still left. So first thing to do is to turn them out onto a cooling rack just so that you can free up the tin and these will cool down quicker. And I'm just going to re-grease that. I actually didn't mention that I greased that. I just lightly greased it with a spray grease, FYI, before I started. And these look already really, really sweet. So I'm just going to wait for my tin to cool down and then I will refill, rebake and keep going till I've run out of batter. And welcome back. Now my mini donuts are out of the oven. They've cooled down. I actually managed to get almost 3 dozen out of that batter, so that's cool. But now it's time to decorate them or complete them. Now obviously the Homer donut is going to be pink, and you can use a glaze which would just be like, let's say 250 grams of icing sugar and maybe like a couple of tablespoons of milk or hot water and a bit of pink food colouring, and that's all well and good, but I want these to kind of hold up a little bit better than glaze. So I'm using bright pink melted white chocolate. I just melted that over a bain-marie because I don't have a microwave at home, but it is a lot easier in the microwave. And it's now kind of runny. So I'm going to start by dipping the half of my donuts into that and giving them a little sprinkle. And then for the other half, I am going to do something pretty classic, and that is just to brush a little bit of melted butter over them, not too much. I don't want to kind of soak them in fat, but just a little bit, and then dredge them in cinnamon sugar. And I've just got about 100 grams of caster sugar with about a teaspoon of cinnamon, mixed it all about, and that is just right. And these are the finished donuts, and I think you'll agree they are pretty cute. Yum! So these make really good toppings for your cakes or your cupcakes, so that's what we do at Crumbs Doilies. Or you can just make loads of them and have them as party food. They make really great party food. The main thing is to eat them because they are delicious. That is proof. I think it's the nutmeg that makes these super duper donutty. Also the cinnamon sugar. Oh my god, they're so nice. So please do give them a go. If you do, take a picture, put it on your Instagram feed, and use the hashtag Cupcake Jemma. That way I can check it out and maybe include you in my Mega Fan Monday, which I have started doing, which basically showcases all of my favourite bakers who have baked some of my things. I go through it all at the end of the week, and I pick out a few of my favourites and I put it on my Instagram and give you a shout out. It's super fun. So please go and do that, and if you are coming back here again and again to my channel to get recipes but you have not yet subscribed, then please do, because it would mean the world to me. It would also mean a great deal to me if you would share this recipe, perhaps with someone who loves donuts as well. And that's it from me really, so I'll be back next week with another recipe, so I will see you then. Have a great week making donuts and making all sorts of things, and I'll see you next week. Bye!